friends. Today I am making a video and I'm going to be talking about all the things that I'm currently loving. So when I was putting all this together, I decided to opt out of including decks. Now, there are definitely decks I'm loving right now, but I talk about decks a lot, especially in my monthly wrap-ups, and I just did a video about pairings with the decks that I'm using, so I felt like it was a little overkill for those particular decks. So today I'm going to be talking about all the things I've been loving. They are divination related or divination adjacent, so it is relevant to my channel, but there's just so many things I've been loving a lot lately, and I just thought I would make a video and talk about all of them because there's so many really neat things that I've been working with lately that I've been loving. So to start, I'm going to talk about the crystals I've been working with. Now, I have a lot of crystals, as you probably know, but I only work with a select few at any given time. So these are the ones that I've been working with and how I've been working with them. So to start, there's some here that I have talked about before. We have my moonstone and my lapis heart. This heart is so puffy and I love it. I have been working with these for a long time, for several months now. The reason I purchased them was this one is for hormonal balance. With perimenopause probably creeping up on me, I figured it was a good time to invest in a piece of moonstone, which helps with hormonal balance. Now, does it? No, there's no scientific proof that it does, but what there is scientific proof of is the placebo effect. And that I believe in. So if I'm telling this crystal it's going to work for my hormonal regulation and I'm convinced that it will, we may have something there. We might be onto something. Now, this one isn't overly flashy. It does have an area of flash that I cannot find at the current. Oh, there it is. So we've got some like purpley blue flash happening. It might be too bright to see it, but I didn't buy it for the flash. I bought it for its assistance with my hormones. It's going to cure everything for me hormone wise. And this one, this lapis lazuli heart, also super bright in here, but it is a stunning electric blue. I love it so much. This one I purchased for sleeping and headaches. Lapis lazuli, anything blue is good for your throat chakra, so communication. Also, especially with the deep blue here, it's really good for intuition. I don't really use it for those purposes. This one was purchased with the intent of sleeping and headaches. So these two, they've kind of accidentally become a couple. I can't really see myself separating them because I've been working with them together for so long. And what do I mean by working with? So these have just been in bed with me. I sleep with them every single night. And I'm hoping that by keeping myself in close proximity to these all night, every night, they're going to work their magic. Now, this one I have found is kind of like a worry stone. Like when I'm watching TV, it's super fun to just hold on to and play around with. Sometimes I like holding on to it and seeing how long it takes to heat up and then putting it somewhere cold on my skin and I feel the heat from it. So that's been fun. It's for me, proximity. Working with something is proximity, giving it an intention and keeping it close to yourself. So those two have been around a while. You might have seen them before. But speaking of worry stones, I used to have these a long time ago and I kind of got away from them for some reason, and now we're back. So I have been working with worry stones. These two just happen to be heart shaped. This is a purple moss agate and this is a black obsidian. So I have several of these in my purse. I have them on my nightstand. I have them in my work office, my home work office. And yeah, just really been liking working with them. They're just, I mean, you can sure set intentions for these, but these are more so for relaxing and calming myself down and giving me something to fidget with, like a fidget spinner. It's just, if I'm wanting to snack at night, but not wanting to snack at night, I'll pick up something and just do something with my hands to try and distract myself from that desire to snack. So definitely working a lot more with worry stones again lately. One that I worked with recently, it's kind of on its way out, but this is a piece of very high quality garnet. The full moon in Scorpio was about a week ago, not quite, little less than a week ago. And when I was researching what to do with the full moon in Scorpio, what to work with, tools to work with, garnet was one of them. And I can see why a dark red stone would work for Scorpio. So I was working with this one. I'll probably work with it for another few days and just put it back on its display area. How am I working with this? This is really heavy for the size of it. It's very heavy. Again, I just kind of set the intentions that I had with the Scorpio full moon, and it hung out in bed with these guys. I don't really like to pick this one up and rub it. There are some like sharp pieces on it, and it is quite sharp on the fingers if you catch one of those little sharp guys. So don't really love working with it that way. So it's just been hanging out on the sidelines in bed with that full moon in Scorpio intention energy with it. But like I said, that one might not be around for much longer, but it's something I'm working with right now. Another one that's made its way into my bed, in case you can't tell, I seem to work with a lot of crystals in bed. This insane red jasper and hematite palm stone. The colors in this are very vibrant. This probably would have been a really good Scorpio full moon one as well. But the reason I'm working with this one is because hematite is supposed to be a very grounding crystal. And I actually find I do feel grounded when I am holding a piece of hematite. And grounding when you're going to bed, right before bed, is an excellent way to ensure or help that you have a good sleep. So red jasper also is a grounding crystal. It's red, so if you're looking at the sacral chart, it is that root and that sacral chakra, which is grounding. So like working with them together. Also, side note, red jasper helps avoid emotional manipulation by others. Do I think I'm being emotionally manipulated in my bed by myself? No, but just something fun to note about red jasper in case you were curious about red jasper. Another one is this clear quartz cookie, I guess. It's kind of a palm stone, but smaller, I guess it's a palm stone. This is just, clear quartz is just a good one to work with at any given time. I like working with it at any given time, just for whatever reason. Clear quartz is our master healer, so you can give it any intention you want. You can tell it to do whatever you want it to do, and it'll fix all the things. Again, placebo effect. So this one, it's been another one that I've just been kind of playing with at night. What I really like to do with this one though, because of its shape, it's really easy to plop it on your forehead if I'm laying on my back and it doesn't like slide off. So if I'm meditating or just trying to rest or trying to get clarity about a situation, it just rests on my forehead and it stays there while I'm chilling, doing all the things. And the last one I've really been enjoying is this Orca Agate Freeform. Now this is kind of difficult to carry around. These ones I could probably get away with putting in my purse. Super heavy. Probably wouldn't because of all those little chips, those dings on it. I wouldn't want to make it worse. I mean, you could put these in your purse if you wanted. They're going to be a little heavy. Probably some of them could go in your bra, but don't recommend putting huge ones in your bra. This one, I mean, it is comfortable to hold, the shape of it, the way it's got like a flat side and a round side. I really do like holding it, but it's not, it's more of a display piece in my opinion, the shape wise, but I'm not using it that way. I do hold it in bed at night. It doesn't stay in bed with me. It goes back on the shelf, but Orca Agate is incredibly calming. And there's not many crystals. It's funny of me to admit this as a crystal collector, but there's not many crystals that I pick up and I'm like, yes, I can feel it. It's working. It's magic. This one, for some reason, whether it's how it fits in my hand, the calmness that gives me, how it's a little bit cool. Also, color therapy is a thing. This light gray blue I feel is really calming. But for some reason, I do feel calm when I hold this. I feel relaxed. I can almost feel anxiety leaving my body when I hold on to this. But the colors and the banding are absolutely gorgeous on this piece. Love it. But like I said, this one doesn't stay in bed. It goes back on the shelf over there. So those are the crystals I've been loving. Like I said, these get switched out fairly regularly. They're not things that I work with for long periods of time, with the exception of these two guys. They seem to have become a staple in my life, so they will hang around probably till the end of time. But things like this, they kind of switch out. This one, I'm really liking putting it on the forehead, so it might remain on my nightstand, and that's kind of how it gets used from now on because it's been working. This one is one that I will switch out as well. So those are the crystals I've been loving lately. Speaking of working with the Scorpio full moon, something else I've been loving lately, the last 2 full moons to be exact, is making spritzer water out of my full moon water. It's only something I've done the last 2 full moons. So I have a full moon in Libra and now a full moon in Scorpio one. I make moon water often with full moons, but I never thought of making a spritzer bottle. And I can take the full moon water that I've made and is sitting in jars and add it to one of these bottles. But what I like is that I can give this spritzer bottle a separate intention, its own specific job duties for me. So for example, with this one, I put intuition, emotional healing, introspection, and shedding bad habits. So when I spritz this, that's kind of what I'm trying to embody from this water. So how do I use it? I will spritz it either in my space or on my person. The full moon in Libra, I infused with a beauty intention. So I will lightly spritz it on my face if I'm wanting to feel extra pretty that day, or if I'm doing something, like sometimes I'll do it before I film a YouTube video to kind of, I imagine a glamour of beauty being put on my face when I spritz it on my face. The other thing I do with these, I add a crystal inside. So the full moon in Libra, I added a rose quartz chip. In here, I put clear quartz because when I was looking up the full moon in Scorpio, I didn't really have any chips of the recommended crystals, and the ones I did have aren't safe for water. So just keep that in mind if that's something you're interested in doing. Some of them should not be put in water and then sprayed on your body or ingested, especially. So in here, I put clear quartz because, like I said, clear quartz is our master healer and you can give it any job duty you want. So I had my jar of moon water that was just regular Scorpio full moon water. Then I had this with these specific intentions, and then I had the clear quartz crystal outside of the bottle to absorb the light of the full moon. And then before the sun rose, I popped it in the bottle. So loving these. I think it's such a great idea, and yeah, anytime I'm feeling like I need an intuition boost or emotional healing, that'll come in super handy, or introspection or shedding bad habits. I haven't tried spritzing it on myself before watching a crystal live sale on Instagram, but maybe I should. So that's something else I've been loving lately. The next thing I've been loving, and I've talked about this one before, is my dice. So I had talked about journaling my dice rolls, and I was putting them in my tarot journal, and I didn't like it. I didn't like that it was kind of intermingled with my tarot readings. So I had these little booklets from Etsy that I purchased, and this is now my dice roll journal. So all my dice roll happenings get documented in here. And I really like going back and reflecting on some of the questions I've asked the dice to see if they were accurate. So I just did some a few days ago. I won't know for a while if they're going to be accurate. One of them I suspect will not be accurate, but it'll be interesting to go back and see. I have finally got around to putting some stickers on my tin, but here is my lovely dice set. This is a set I bought off Etsy. It is amethyst, so it's quite heavy, which is why I tend to roll them in this little foam piece, which doesn't really give it a lot of room. I don't love that, but I love that I'm not overly worried about chipping them. So there's that. But I've seen those dice roller kit or table things. What am I saying? Similar to this, but bigger. I just don't. I'm cool with leaving it like this. I have other dice sets that I keep in my purse that are resin, and those ones are a lot lighter. They're significantly lighter than a crystal set would be, and I roll those anywhere. Don't really care if they get destroyed. They were dirt cheap, also off Etsy. So how am I working with these? Well, let's start with the easiest one. I incorporated a yes-no with the D4. This wasn't something I started off doing. It was something, I think I got the idea from somewhere else. YouTube, perhaps? Not sure. But it's like a yes-no coin, only we have 4 options. So for me, I have assigned the 1 as no and the 4 as yes. The in-between numbers, the 2 and the 3. So the 2 is still more no leaning, but with a slight chance of yes. And then the 3 is more yes leaning, but with a slight chance of no. So let's say I'm like, should I wear that dress today? We have 4. Yes, you should wear that dress today. But if we were, oh, we got a 1 that time. Let's try, okay, 3. Should you wear that dress today? Mostly yes, but with a side of, maybe look at other options, you know, that kind of thing. So I've really been enjoying using the D4 for yes, no's. It's been a lot of fun. The other dice I use, let's talk about the D10. So here we have our D10. This one I like to use for, well, you could also use your percentage dice. You could use either one of these for what percentage does X have of happening. So that would be a 20% chance, 80% chance. On a scale of 1 to 10, you could use this for your D10. On a scale of 1 to 10, how sunny is it going to be today? 9. I can tell you right now that's not true, but we're just playing. We're not asking serious questions here. I'm also not planning on wearing a dress anywhere, so we're playing. That's how I like to use these guys. Now, when we get into tarot, I'm trying to remember where I pulled all these from. When we get into tarot, I use my D20. Now we are missing some cards here. We're missing the Fool and we are missing the World. So I kind of rationalize that by saying the Fool is the very, very, very beginning and the World is the very, very, very end. So the other cards are more action cards, whereas the Fool is the very beginning and the World is we're done. So the Fool is the potential of a beginning, basically. So if you're looking for a major arcana energy for the day, 17, well, we like that one. That's okay. We have a hopeful day. So that's not bad. You could use it for, oh, there's some rainbows in my dice. You could use it for asking about what archetype energy you need to work on today. 8. Strength. Okay. That's an interesting one to unpack. If you're looking for more of a reading style, or if you're wanting something less major, like we know that the major arcana focuses on larger issues, that's when I would use my D10 for a minor arcana energy. So what minor arcana energy do we need to focus on? I use this as numerology, so 9. So with a 9, we're not at the end, but we're almost at the end. Like don't count your chickens before they hatch, but like we are almost there. Keep going, keep pushing. So that would be kind of like the energy of the day. If I wanted a little more specific information about that 9, that's when I would use the D4 to introduce the suit that it pertains to. So what is this kind of almost there energy pertaining to? We have a 2. So for me, wands are a 1, 2s are cups, 3s are swords, and 4s are pentacles. So we have a cup energy here, 9 of cups. So some form of relationship or partnership, commitment perhaps, don't over celebrate. You're not there yet, kind of thing. So then you could also incorporate, if you really wanted to, a major arcana energy. I always, for some reason, when I'm playing with these dice on camera, I almost always roll a 15 or a 13 every time. So that's another way you could link these dice together, or essentially get a little tarot reading. I will sometimes do that at my desk. I don't often incorporate the major arcana. I will usually ask for a numerology meaning. Wow, it's really wanting to give us that 9. So we have a 10. And then if I'm like, oh, but what? I need more information about that 10. What's going to be completed today? Cups again. So they're a little more discreet than pulling out a tarot deck and shuffling. That's why I like to work with them at my in-office desk. First thing in the morning as I'm kind of having my coffee, turning on my computer, getting all the jazz going. That's what I like to do with those. Another dice that comes in super handy is the D12. So this one I like to use for astrology houses. A great example of this would be what astrology house do I need to focus on today? Oops. We have house 11, which is funny with our cups: groups, friends, social awareness, humanitarianism, technology, hopes and wishes, and the future. So you could do that. You could also work with timing. So 12 months in a year. So you could say, what month of the year should I expect X to happen? The 7th month of the year. So that would be July. Now, let's say we got the 3rd month of the year, March. That's already happened. So this is where you have to really think about how you're wording your question. So this would be March of 2026, or you could say how many months until X should happen. Then we have 6 months until X happens. So that's another way you can work with these. The D4, seasons. There are 4 seasons of the year. What season should I expect X to happen? The 3rd season. So for me, 1 is spring, 2 is summer, 3 is fall, and 4 is winter. I don't really change it up. Like, I don't really say how many seasons until X happens. I kind of keep it the same. I keep the seasons assigned to the numbers. So there's that. There's also weeks, 4 weeks. How many weeks, or what week of the month will this happen? The first week of the month. Sometimes, a lot of times, there's 5 weeks. So that one's kind of iffy. I don't really use that one. I typically stick to seasons, or if something is going to happen within the month, if the month has already kind of started. How many weeks until, okay, the 4th week. Timing with your D20, almost 3 weeks, almost a 3-week time period. So you could, how many weeks until X? 11, or days. This could be used for days. How many days until X? 20 days. Another thing you can do with your D20, you can do this with your percent guy as well. I like to say, I kind of talked about it. What percent chance does X have of happening? 80% chance of X. If you really want to get specific, then you throw in this guy, 86% chance of that happening. I'm okay with just using the 1. Same with your D20. On a scale of 1 to 20, what is the probability or the likelihood of X happening? Whoops. 8. Not great. So there's a lot of things you can do with those dice. I've been having a lot of fun playing with them, asking random questions, even just small questions, just to see the accuracy of them. I tend to stay away from the time frame ones, like how many days until X happens? Tomorrow, one day, because that is predictive, and my reading style isn't that predictive. But if I'm having fun with it, I might do that. Like, how many days until he texts me? Oh, we got 10 days. So whatever. You can, to each their own. You can choose to work with time frames. My favorites are the houses. Where did you go? The houses. I really like working with what area of my life should I focus on? What area of my life am I really excelling in? Also 11. Really enjoying that one. I really like using the D10 for the numerology energy, minor arcana energy. We have a 5. So if I were to get that 5, I would want to know what suit that pertains to. So we've got conflict typically for our 5. Where am I having conflict today? Oop, in Pentacles. Whoops. So if I got that at work, I might panic. Now, what major arcana energy can I use to resolve this conflict? The 3. So really interesting ways to work with these dice, and I have been loving them. I was a little bit worried after I bought this dice set because it was not cheap. It wasn't as expensive as I was thinking it would be. Even when I went back and looked at my bill because I couldn't remember how much I paid, I was like, oh, that's actually not that bad. So once I was kind of not really using it that often, I was like, oh, was that a mistake? Should I not have bought this dice set? And here I am, loving it. So something else I've been loving, I feel like that was super long, is my dice set, my divination dice set. And I love my little notebook. I can put an elastic band around it to keep them together. There's actually a little lip on the bottom, even better. So dice set. I feel like that was long-winded and really confusing, but we made it. We made it there. For the next thing I've been loving, we have my mini tarot travel kit that I've been using for Astro Casting. So I got this off of Etsy, and the mat that came with it was different than the one that I have in my kit. I had to message her and ask her if I could swap out the mat because I specifically wanted this for Astro Casting. So this sticker came in the kit, the 3-card tarot reading. I put a clear quartz chip. This is just, it was in a candle actually, and I always save the crystals from candles because you can do things like that with them. The cards, sometimes I try to put them in nicely and sometimes I give up, folks. These stickers I put in myself. I printed off my astrology chart, which is gibberish to me. Might as well be looking at something that's a different language. And then a cheat sheet for the houses because I'm still learning what all the houses are. So if we do the mat here, I always set it up so that house 1 is on the left side. So self is our house 1. And what I've learned about this, when I first started doing this, I would drop multiple cards at a time, and that was just too overwhelming for me. So what I've decided and what seems to be working better for me is 1 card at a time. Nope, we don't like that one. When things like this happen, it also stresses me out. I'm like, where is it? Is it in secrets or is it in self? To start, the majority of this card is in self, so that's how I would read this. We have the 9 of Wands in house 1 for the self. So it also, again, depends on what you're asking. So what area am I really excelling in? What area do I need assistance in? So perhaps a little more resilience in the house of self. Well, what does that mean? That's when I would go to my little thing, your physical body, your public image. I've been trying to work out lately, so that tracks. What have I been excelling in? Again, I would say it mostly falls on 1, 2, 3, 4, home. The star, I like that. The other thing I kind of sometimes incorporate into this is adding a sphere to the center, because sometimes a card will land like this and that really stresses me out. How am I supposed to read that? So to prevent that from happening, I'll drop a sphere in the middle and then it kind of bounces. This one's almost like that's 50-50. So it'll bounce off of it and land somewhere else, which I like. Sometimes I'm doing this in bed and I don't always have a flat surface to put a sphere on. So in that case, if it does land here, I just like redo it. I'll just redrop it, pick another card, redrop it. So really enjoying that, really enjoying, again, learning the houses, which for some reason this information is not sticking. I have to look it up every time. The houses in astrology, I think I've just kind of resigned to the fact that that's going to be one of those things that it's never going to stick. But that's why I made my handy dandy little sticker cheat sheet. So there's, again, lots of things you can do for this. What do I have to look out for in the coming month? 5, did I say interest? It's upside down. Interest. And we have the 8 of Swords. So creativity, children, romance. Creativity and 8 of Swords. Children or romance, 8 of Swords. Ooh. You know, I'm just going to put that back. So there's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of different ways you can do it. I have been sticking to the basics. I've really been sticking to what am I excelling in and what house do I need to work on and why kind of thing. 5 of Pentacles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sexuality. Oh my gosh. Just putting these all back. So enjoying this. The one thing I will say about this kit is once you get these guys all jumbled up, aligning them all again takes an astronomical amount of time. And sometimes it annoys me, which is why when I opened the kit, they were just kind of splayed everywhere. But then I want them to look organized and pretty when I open the kit. And I don't want to be afraid to open the kit, afraid to have cards fall everywhere. So sometimes if I'm just sitting watching TV while I'm doing this, I will, if I've got the time, I'll reorganize them and put them together all organized and I'll show you what that looks like. Since you saw the messy version, I will now show you the organized version. And they're a little stabby. They're like, they have a plastic coating on them, which makes them feel really durable. But they're sharp. The edges are sharp. So we have our mat all folded up squarely. Oh God, don't knock this over. Can't do that again. We have our cards. See, like that looks so much nicer. And our little clear quartz for cleansing. So much nicer. But that is my Astro Casting kit. This is not something that I do every day. Maybe once a week, because it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of learning, especially with the houses. And it's also like you've got to get the mat out, you've got to get the cards out, and I really kind of have to be in the mood to do that. But it is fun. I have been enjoying it, and it's interesting. I haven't been documenting the results, like I haven't been writing them in a tarot journal, which I'm really kind of upset about. I don't know why. I think the process of doing all of this makes me forget to journal when you're packing everything up, and it's like, oh, I didn't even write that down. But there is that. The next thing I've been loving, and the last thing on our list, is my Magic of I Astrology planner. Not just by itself. I do love it by itself, but what I've been loving is working with it with the Heavenly Bodies Astrology Oracle. And I have talked about this before, but it's something I'm loving, so we're going to talk about it again and in a little more depth, because I have kind of got a little better at reading with this. So I thought together we would do June 2nd, because it's in the future, it's coming up. So if you're seeing this before June 2nd, you've got yourself a little astrology reading, and you can see how accurate it is. We can all see how accurate it is. And also, I don't know if you can tell, but June 2nd has the least amount of astrological happenings on any other day in June, and I really wanted to simplify this for the video. So June 2nd, you can see, maybe you can't, it's kind of hard. I think this is more noticeable on the larger ones. I just have the little A6 guy. So on the larger ones, I think this is more identifiable, but the aspects, is that what these are called? In bold are the ones that are exact. So there's only one that's in bold, and this is Venus. Is that conjunction? I think it's conjunction, and that is Chiron. I've never done this with Chiron, so I might avoid that one, but typically I don't do all of these because there's too many to do, and you're about to find out how complicated it gets. So I will pick one or two, and if I'm only picking one or two, I'm going to pick the one that's in bold, except for June 2nd, because we haven't done Chiron. I have not done Chiron before, and I don't want to get confused. So I've written all of these down so I don't have to keep referencing the planner. First thing we have, oh, I should also show you, because this, you need some help here. So with the monthly, you have this little chart on the side. This tells you what zodiac sign all of the planets are in. Took me a minute to figure that out, but if you're going to need to know where the planets are, what astrology sign the planets are in, that's where you're going to go to see that. We have first Venus sextile Jupiter for June 2nd. So we find Venus, let's sort these by, those are planets, sextile, and we go back to our planets to find Jupiter. So this would be our basic reading. This is the one I've talked about in the past. Come on. What I love about working with this deck is this exact purpose. So for June 2nd, how you give and receive love and or find value and see beauty is going to be in a combination of tension and flow and or potential and or a rewarding situation with how you grow and expand. So all those and ors are a lot. So it is your job to piece together those bits and bytes and find the one that works the best, or one that you think works the best. So for this basic example, how you give and receive love is going to find potential, or going to be met with potential, in how you grow and expand, how you expand. That is an interesting interpretation. How you find value and see beauty is going to be in a combination of tension and flow with your growth and expansion. So you can unpack that one however you like, but maybe some lessons in public perception of beauty. There's a lot of things you can unpack. There's a lot of ways you can interpret this yourself. It's, for me, that's something I would kind of have to make a note on, and then after, maybe at the end of the day on June 2nd, evaluate how correct was I in piecing together these pieces. But it does give you a bit of a heads up. Let's complicate it. This is how I started, was the absolute basic. Since I've got a little beta, this is how I've expanded on this. So with that little chart at the side of the calendar, we know that Venus is in Aries. So we're going to find our Aries card. Now, Jupiter is also in Aries. So we're just using this one card for this example. This is how you would expand further on that message to get a little more detail. So you're going to put the zodiac sign after each planet. The zodiac sign is the realm that it's going to affect. We'll see when we piece together the sentence. So how you give and receive love in the realm of independence, bravery, and passion is going to be in a combination of tension with flow, in how you grow and expand in the realm of independence, bravery, and passion. So again, you're going to have to pick and choose those words to see which works the best. Sometimes with this, I have to get out a piece of paper and write them all down. This is a very time-consuming process for me. I don't do it every day, for that fact. I probably don't even do this one weekly. Like maybe once or twice a month I'll do this when I've got a decent amount of time that I can dedicate towards doing it. So let's try. How you find value in independence is going to be in a combination of tension and flow, where you grow and expand in, I almost want to use the word independence again instead of passion or bravery. To me, that message is saying you're going to come across a situation or have a kind of day where maybe you're someone who is a very independent person, and you might have to do something that day that requires you to ask for assistance, for example. Or maybe you are not someone who's independent. You are someone who leans on other people and needs to be around other people, enjoys being around other people in group settings, and you might have to do something on your own. Combination of tension and flow with independence. And of course, grow and expand. It's going to be that kind of moment for you. It's going to be that kind of situation. It works well with our tension and flow. It's going to be maybe an uncomfortable situation you don't want to be in, but it is going to help you grow and expand. I actually really like that for our June 2nd message with Venus and Jupiter. Let's try another aspect. What do we have? We're ignoring the Chiron. Jupiter square Saturn. So Jupiter's in Gemini and Saturn is in Aries. So we're keeping our Aries card, and Jupiter is here. All right, let me get this situated and I'll be back. Okay, so here would be our basic message. We have Jupiter square Saturn on June 2nd. So without the astrology cards, without that extra added information, this is what we have. So let's break this one down. How you grow and expand. Might face a challenging situation with feeling restricted, experiencing struggle, learning hard work, and patience. There's a lot on this card. There's a lot that you can choose from. So how you grow and expand may face a challenging situation. So if you're trying to work on yourself, if you're trying to work on your own inner growth, you might face a challenging situation. You might struggle with what plans you have set out for your own personal growth plan, for example. Plans for the future. I mean, those are things we like to grow. This can be a lot of things. Again, it's a very vague message, which is why adding in the little bit of additional assistance is pretty helpful here. Okay, we're almost all on camera. We're good. So now our sentence becomes, how you grow and expand. In the realm of curiosity, intellect, and networking, might be faced with a challenging situation or a mountain to climb. By feeling restricted or experiencing struggle or patience in the realm of independence, bravery, and passion. So for me, there's a message that is really sticking out with these cards. So how you grow and expand in the realm of networking is going to face a challenging situation, or you're going to feel as though there's a mountain to climb. With learning hard work and patience in the realm of, I would say, passion. Independent, the words can all work, but we're going to go with passion. To me, that's a work situation. Networking, something to do with work. It's going to have a challenging situation. You might have to be patient with something. Something at work is not, some connection you're trying to make at work is not happening as quickly as you would like. You are very passionate about it. Bravery is now sticking out to me. So let's try that one. So how you grow and expand. Ooh, that would work in the realm of networking. We'll face a challenging situation with experiencing struggle in the realm of bravery. So if we look at networking and bravery, it's kind of like the same message that I had previously where, maybe you're trying to make new friends. You're trying to put yourself out there. You're meeting someone new, and it requires a lot of bravery on your part. So a challenging situation. So heads up for that possible challenging situation or feeling like there's a mountain to climb with networking. There might be a bit of a struggle. Patience could even work with that one. You know, maybe setting up something with this person, whether it's a work person or someone in your personal life. You guys are kind of playing phone tag. Things are not working out. You're busy this time. They're busy this time when you're free, whatever the case may be. Let's try, I don't know how I feel about curiosity, how you grow and expand in the realm of curiosity, which works with growing and expanding. Might face a challenging situation or a mountain to climb in the realm of patience. Works for that too. And passion. So something that you've become curious about, something you've decided you want to look into, you want to do a new craft project, like a new business venture, something you've become excited and curious about, could even be a person, is going to face a challenging situation with patience and passion. So you've become passionate about this new curiosity or this new individual or this new whatever you've uncovered for yourself that is, you believe, helping you grow and expand. Might have some struggles there. Maybe you're overly passionate about it. You know, if we just look at these two cards, patience with passion. You're too passionate. The patience and the passion are kind of clashing here. You're so passionate about it that you're lacking the patience that you need. You're just kind of wanting to get it done, to get into it kind of thing. So we've spent a lot of time on this one. So I'm going to pack it up there with this deck. The other deck I keep in this pouch. If I'm struggling with any of these keywords, grow and expand, that's kind of let's elaborate on growing and expanding, because that can mean a lot of things. The numinous void. So I purchased this deck specifically for the additional keywords that are on the bottom. I find a lot of times these keywords are almost exactly the same. So let's find Jupiter and see what other keywords we can come up with. If I'm struggling with that growth and expansion, well, we've got expansion right here. So yes, they concur. Enthusiasm, optimism, that could work. Travel seems quite specific to me. I might not use travel. Expansion again, exploration, potential. So this deck helps me with those additional keywords if I'm struggling to make a sentence, to put a sentence together with the keywords that have been provided on this deck. The other deck I might throw in, which I forgot to bring, is the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I don't use it with this one. I just kind of look at the astrology sign and, the planet and the astrology sign, and use the keywords on the Oracle of the Radiant Sun. If I'm feeling super lazy, if I don't have a ton of time to dedicate to this kind of analysis, I will use the Oracle of the Radiant Sun to just kind of piece together something extremely basic. It's just one keyword on those cards. I've only done that a couple times. I prefer to do it this way. I enjoy doing it this way. So that's it. Those are all my favorite things. And thank you so much for my patience while I explained all those things. I feel like it was a little long-winded and a little confusing, but these are things that I've been working on just in the last few months, like some of them longer than others, but just this year for sure. I don't think I started any of this in January or February. It was mostly like March and going forward. So I haven't been working on it that long, but it's something that I am working on to expand and grow, if you will. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you when I see you.